What's up, world? On this episode of Nerdy Dating, we're going to talk about the Diana Russini, Mike Vrabel situation. We're going to talk about modern day dating and the cost to date. And we're going to finish up with a Reddit read. Stick around. It's another good episode. See ya after the flip. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Nerdy Dating. I am your host, Ali Zakka. And what is Nerdy Dating? It is a dating and relationship advice podcast from a viewpoint of a nerd. So today we'll get into how a conflict of interest can cost you your job. And that's going to be about the story of Diana Russini and Mike Vrabel. See, I'm a fan of the NFL. If you guys watch this podcast, you see me wear Chiefs gear. You see me have different sports stuff on. And over that time, I've been following the NFL for a very long time. But this situation came out, and I immediately thought, interesting, see where this goes. And then after a few weeks, Diana Russini lost her job, or I should say she resigned from the Athletics, which that's where she was a sports reporter of the NFL for this company called the Athletics. And she decided to resign after the investigation of her and pictures with her and Mike Vrabel came out, which you can see behind me here in Sedona, Arizona. Now, why is this picture so big and so like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? Because Diana Russini and Mike Vrabel both try to downplay the picture by saying that, oh, it's just friends hanging out. There's other people in this picture. It's nothing too crazy. However, Mike Vrabel and Diana Russini met before the NFL's owner meeting that was in Phoenix, Arizona, a few days before, and these photos was caught a day before the meeting started. And what's so important about this is that Mike Vrabel and Diana both went down separately. Also, they're both married. Mike Vrabel been married since the 90s. Diana Russini been married since the 2020s, like the year 2020, if not a year later. So they both have marriages, they both have families, and somebody took pictures of them getting cozy. And there's one particular picture of them holding hands on this adult-only boutique hotel in Sedona, Arizona, which is 2 hours from Phoenix, by the way. So they get caught with these photos. All right, everybody's like, okay, these two are possibly cheating. We don't know the actual extent if they really are cheating, but it just looks like you do not interlock your hands with your best friend or your friend. It's just something you don't do. So everybody's like, okay, they're cheating. Well, Diana and Mike Vrabel both came out and said, like, once the photos got released through page 6, they both came out and said, no, this is all taken out of context. Mike Vrabel said these photos are laughable, just two friends hanging out, or something along those lines. But he did say it was laughable. Diana Russini said what the photos are missing are the 6 other people that was there with us. And they both reported on that. They both went out and said in a statement. That does spark all the media, not outlash or backlash, but media jump in, I should say, into the pool. Because when something comes out with photos, you can't speak on it. Well, I've learned from Mike Fiorio and PFT that you can't speak on just the pictures. You have to have, like, the person who's getting accused of something speak on it. If they don't speak on it, it's pretty much all speculation. But once the person speaking on the topic comes out and says something, now what they say can be held to a microscope on what is going on in these pictures. And thus, that's what happened. Once Diana Russini and Mike Vrabel both came out and said that these pictures are laughable, or that it doesn't show everybody in these pictures, it allowed everybody to say, well, your words don't match what we're seeing. And they made statements on the 7th when the pictures came out on the 6th. Now, while this cost somebody a job, Diana Russini is an NFL reporter and Mike Vrabel is the New England Patriots head coach. If they are, which has come out more and more and more, that they are cheating with each other or involved with each other, it's a conflict of interest of your job. As far as Diana Russini goes, Mike Vrabel doesn't really have any conflict of interest. He's just the owner of the team, and whatever he does, give information out, doesn't really affect his job, doesn't affect what he does. However, as an NFL reporter, which that's your job, that you want to be as, what's the word I'm looking for, partial to all the players and to all the teams out there that you're not just getting dirt because you're sleeping with somebody, quote unquote, don't know for sure, but getting dirt on somebody because you're, I'll say, romantically involved with somebody. It's kind of like you're cheating in a sense, and therefore it's a conflict of interest. It's the same thing as a NFL cheerleader dating an NFL player, which has happened in the past. Chris Cooley, not Conley, Conley's another player, but Chris Cooley, the tight end of the Washington football team back in the mid-2000s, he ended up marrying an NFL cheerleader for the Washington football team. She, I believe, decided to leave afterwards. If not, she was let go because of conflict of interest in her contract that she can't date the players. And vice versa, players should be dating cheerleaders, executives, whatever may be. And there's another one I think about. There's an NBA coach who did the same thing where he got involved with somebody in the office, and I believe he was cheating as well. But anyway, conflict of interest when it comes to sports, and that sparked an investigation. The investigation that happened was the Athletics decided to investigate Diana Russini in the situation and other cases down the line. Diana Russini decided to resign before the investigation concluded on April 14th. And I might have the date wrong, April 14th, April 17th, but she decided to resign, and thus at this point doesn't really have a job as an NFL reporter. Now, she can still be a podcaster, she can do a talk show, something like that, and present news that way, or to give her thoughts and opinions on situations, but she lost her job in pretty much grand scheme of things. Mike Vrabel at this point in time did not lose his job. And my thing is, you do not sleep, you do not eat where you use the bathroom at, for a better term. You don't eat where you take a dump at. You don't eat where you take a bathroom at. You don't do that. Because when you do that, you find yourself in situations where things go out of whack and go sideways. Even though they wasn't cheating, it's still conflict of interest to lose your job. Now, you decide to date somebody at your job or at your work or where the place you work, the place you operate. You should probably tell HR immediately, ASAP, because you don't want to get involved in a situation where conflict of power dynamics, where like a supervisor is messing with an agent or a manager is messing with a supervisor or something like that along those lines, where the power balance, but I'm losing the word right now, but power balance, where somebody holds all the power because they're higher than you, even though you're romantically dating them, they still in a sense can control what you do if they report directly to you. And most jobs, if somebody's dating somebody or is married to somebody and working with them and they're working together, they will put them in different offices or different teams. So therefore, it's not a direct report. You're not reporting directly to the person that's in charge of your paycheck, which makes complete sense. And there's no conflict of interest. However, when it comes to Diana Russini and Mike Vrabel, if they were both single and they got romantically involved with each other, she would have to cover another team, so therefore she can't just get all the fresh scoops or pretty much romantically involve her way to getting like the deals first and getting news out first before everybody else did, because she is, in a sense, in bed with the coach. And if he gives that information to her, she doesn't say how her sources got, but that's her main source. Thus, she's making money and profiting off of the information that she's getting directly from the head coach, versus if she was a sideline reporter like everybody else, going to the locker rooms, going to all those things, a beat reporter, she would have to ask somebody and get different resources, and somebody just wouldn't give her the information because she is romantically involved in them and has a leg up in the reporting game. So she resigned. Mike Vrabel at this point is taking backlash because over the past weekend, we had the NFL draft. And in the NFL draft, everybody's there. Coaches, owners, GMs, they're there drafting teams. But Mike Vrabel during that week decided to take a step away from the NFL draft to focus on counseling over the weekend and be with his family, which thus has implied and thus has pretty much confirmed that he was cheating on his wife, or Diana Russini, which unfortunately he's going to get media backlash, he's going to get public backlash, but he's not going to lose his job because his job does not require him. There's nothing in his job that say that he can't get involved with a reporter. However, he is putting the reporter at risk. And That's what I have to say about that. So if you find yourself in a situation where you are getting romantically involved with somebody that's could be a direct report to you, could be a conflict of interest, you probably should let HR know immediately. So therefore, if I don't let HR know, it kind of saves them if something pops off and something goes wrong. There was a general manager of a team who came on the podcast, and he just said, if your business, your business. I don't care about that. However, if you decide to involve the team, decide to involve the directors, not player personnel, but I was always worried, look, front office, cheerleaders, you decide to get involved with that, other players' wives, other players' girlfriend, and you bring that information to me, I will have to take action. He was like, I don't want to hear about it. If I do hear about it, there will be consequences. And that right there says it all. It says everything you need to know, that like you shouldn't be getting involved with somebody that's a part of your job unless you let HR know. So that way everybody knows everything that's going on, and something blows out of the water, it doesn't cause big issues. Now, in the case of Mike Vrabel and Diana Russini, they were cheating on their marriages, or that we think of, unless they was in an open marriage. I doubt both of them was in an open marriage, because if they both were, they wouldn't have such a like, this is laughable, play it off. They've just been like, me, my wife, me, my husband, we have an open marriage. We can sleep around with whoever we want to sleep around with, and there's no consequences to that. My wife can sleep around with whoever she wants to sleep around with. My husband sleep around with whoever he wants to sleep around with. There's no consequences to that. However, neither one of them said that, and thus that lets you know that, yeah, they're doing something they shouldn't be doing. So shame on both of them. And I don't know, I wouldn't say I'm going to wish them best of luck. It's just that they knew better. They shouldn't have been doing that. Either you tell your wife, tell your husband that, hey, I'm thinking about sleeping with somebody else. We want to open the marriage. If not, I think we should take time apart. I think we should break up, divorce. I know kids can be involved. That's a tough situation. But don't cheat on your marriage. Don't cheat on your partner. You have to have love and respect for your partner. And I know people who say they cheat, like they do love and respect their partner, but they don't respect them enough to not step outside their marriage. And that's the problem right there. So these two, unfortunately, they're getting what's coming to them. Like, if they were just upfront and honest with what was going on, this wouldn't be an issue. But they weren't, and that's the problem. So conflict of interest, let HR know so you don't fall in a situation like this. This is a good example of that. And this is also a good PR example too, because the Patriots try to cover it up and put stuff out there beforehand, and that just didn't work. It was a whole issue. But literally, if you want to decide to get romantically involved with anybody at your job, place of work, let HR know. That way you don't find yourself in a situation like this. And don't cheat. If you think about cheating, let your partner know. Ask what you guys can do about it. But don't cheat. Don't ruin your relationship. Don't ruin your marriage. Don't ruin your work. Don't ruin your job. Don't ruin your paycheck for somebody else who, at the end of the day, is going to leave you high and dry. All right, next topic. So our next topic here is going to be about dating and the cost of dating. That dating is getting too expensive in the year 2026 to date. And right now there's an article by CNBC where they talk about dating in the modern day and the fact that gas prices and food and everything has risen, that dating itself for a date, the average right now is between $205 and $250 for a date. And that's the first date. That's not a second. That's not the third. That is the first date. Also, dating apps costing money as well is causing a problem where dating apps are charging $20 for subscriptions, $15 for subscriptions, $30 for subscriptions. Tinder, Hinge, and Bumble all have those costs, and they're not the only dating apps that are costing that much to date. Well, I just say date, to get premium access to their dating apps. You can do those apps for free, but you're not getting the leg up or getting put in situations where you're getting the best viewing for your potential partners. I'm not gonna lie, I paid for dating apps when I was on dating apps. But the reason why is because I wanted the best advantage. I want to be put out in front of everybody else, and I also had a really good profile that I wanted to be boosted. It worked. As we can see with my hand here. So when it comes to the dating apps though, that is being expensive, and then the dating being expensive, where a first date's costing $205 to $250, one, I would say don't invest your time like that on a first date. Like, if you want to take somebody out, go for it, but do not risk putting yourself in a hole to take somebody on a first date. Then, like, this is my first example of you. This is what you're first getting in person of me on a first date. If I'm taking you to a high-end restaurant, date one, and the bar that you're setting on that date right there is going to show that, like, oh, this person has money. This person comes off that they'll be able to provide all this. This right here, $250 a date might be chump change to them. And in reality, your pocket is hurting. If your pocket is hurting on a first date, you should be on that first date in that specific location, not Pacific, that's the ocean, specific location. If you are going to take somebody on a first date, start off something small. Coffee date. Maybe some drinks at a bar. And I probably wouldn't go one or two drinks. Sorry, not one or two drinks. I probably wouldn't go like 3 or 4 drinks. I probably just go with 1 or 2. Stay light. The first date is just to really get to know somebody, see if your vibe works with them. In today's modern dating era, there are so many options and so many people to date that not every first date needs to be a dinner and a movie, or a dinner for 2 hours where you're taking 3 hours of your life on, let's say, a Thursday night after work, where you're like, look, I got to work, okay, on this date, and now you're sitting here from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. on a work night on a first date, versus like, hey, let's go out for a drink for an hour or 2, or go get coffee, or maybe go for a walk. Like, it's okay to have a small budget date on the first date, because you're getting to know somebody. You want to see if your guys are connecting, see you guys are bonding is a word, but you connect, see like each other's vibe, or see you like each other's style, or see you want to be with this person in general. Because if you're going on this first date and you're spending 3 hours with somebody you don't expect to see again, like, you're gonna look at it like you're wasted $250, which is not a good way to look at it first date, but it's not a fun way to look at it first date either. Also, if you don't have $250 put aside, therefore you're now down $250, and that's just 1 week, by the way. Next week, go to second date. It's gonna be another $250. Third date gonna be another $250. So the first date should be something where you can go light, get to meet somebody, get to talk to them. Maybe something that's not too expensive. Something where you can just get to see if you guys even have a good connection. Because if you guys don't have a good connection, that first date's not gonna mean anything, and you guys can be like, man, well, I just wasted all this time, I wasted all this money, and I have another date next week. Also, don't forget, if you're going on multiple dates in a week, well, now you're spending over $400, $600. You got 3 dates in a row. Like, you're wasting so much time and money to meet people that you might not even see again. So just keep that in mind. And remember, like I said before, you're not trying to date everybody out there in the world. So not every person you go on a date with is gonna be a good match for you. You're trying to find the one person that really matches best with you. And that person, if they're really upset at the fact that you didn't take them to a high-end restaurant on the first date, that you didn't pay for lobster, you didn't pay for the steak on a first date, that's somebody you don't really want to be with. If they're like, hey, we want to go to a coffee date, and they turn their nose up to you and like, I don't do coffee dates. Well, like, hey, well, thank you for your time, but I really would like to get to know you. And I wouldn't even say like the first day is like, oh, my first date I reserved for coffee. You know, like, I just want to like to get to know you, but I understand if you don't want to do coffee dates, that's on you. Or you can ask, hey, what kind of date works for you? And they're like, well, I wanted to do this restaurant on the plaza, which is kind of like a high-end restaurant district and shopping district in Kansas City. But like the plaza, and you're like, well, I don't want to do that date. That's your guys' prerogative, and you're probably not a good match for each other. And that person should go date somebody who they feel best matched with them. So when it comes to first dates, it's okay to be, I say, small budget dates. That's fine. Coffee, ice cream, go for a walk. Like those dates are fine. And when I say go for a walk, I mean grab a drink and then walk around, like, let's say window shopping. If you wanted to do that, that's fine. Have like conversation, get to know the person, and then see and assess, like, okay, if I'm gonna go on a second date, that's when I'll do the $250 date. That's when we'll go ahead and do this, go out here, or go to a nice restaurant. You wanna sit down and eat. Or just go get a ramen shop. I've done that before. That's a fun date. But all I'm saying is, you don't have to drop $250 on a first date. $200 on a first date. It's okay to do a small budget date. And if somebody judges you for that, they're not the person for you. Because the person who for you wouldn't judge you for going on a small date. They want to get to know you and see what you're about and see if you're worth their time as well. So that's all I got to say about first dates. We're going to do one more thing, which is a Reddit clip, a Reddit read, and then we'll call it a day. All right. We have a question about Tinder from Reddit. Is the Tinder model broken? Hear me out. I've met a few girls on dating apps. Some I've dated. I just want to make a baseline here. I'm not a frustrated male. I just hate the model. One evening, I had a few glasses of wine with my friends, and my mate's wife went on Tinder and made a profile for kicks. She posted the most disgusting pictures ever with a name which was a clear metaphor for easy lady. God dang it. Matches were rolling in. This was like a 3 a.m. This was like at 3 a.m. Later, she told me that by morning it was 99 plus. I figured out that guys were gamifying the system by swiping right to every girl each day and then filtering my matches. I feel like this is so much common practice now that every guy is doing it. In reflection, this was always a broken system right for expectation. I just don't like where we are now. Look, man, and the person in the comment said this. Yeah, man, water's wet. Yeah, so that's going to happen. Guys will swipe on every girl they see because they have the slightest interest in it. If they think she looks hot, they're swiping right. They're not reading bios. They're not breaking down every little thing left and right to see, oh, wait, she has a bunny in her background. I don't like bunnies. I'm not going to swipe right. Oh, wait, she likes cars. I'm not swiping right. Oh, wait, she likes getting her nails done every day. Oh, no, I'm not swiping right. If she's presenting cleavage, a butt shot, and like he said, this girl right here said she put like a disgusting picture up there, so I'm going to guess, I don't know what disgusting is in his terms, but I'm going to say she probably put exploitative pictures of there, like her breasts showing out where like it's almost a nip slip. Maybe a bikini pic where her butt cheek is completely out, where like it's not even a bikini pic, also just lingerie shot maybe. I don't know. Maybe she might find pictures of just some random women online, a bunch of OnlyFans models and throw them on there, and then put her name as X, Y, and Z, and it's like down to have fun, DTF, whatever the case would be. And that right there, I'm going to go with the latter. I'm pretty sure she has a husband and probably want to be respected. She probably not put lingerie pictures that she shares with her husband up there. Maybe she did. Maybe she did. I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm just going off what he's giving. He said disgusting pictures and a title that says that she's down to F. I'm assuming. Or something along the lines that she's an easy girl, as he put in quotation marks. Anyway, if a guy just want to get laid, he's going to swipe right. He's going to swipe right. Heck, there's probably a dude who doesn't want to just get laid. He probably want to get to know somebody who think, I can change her. She looks hot. Swiping right. There's guys gonna swipe right a bunch of women. They're not gonna look at the profile. They're not gonna look at it and see like, oh, this seems like a fake profile. Some dudes will. They're like, I've been on the game long enough, I've been on the app long enough to know this is fake. But it's just the world we live in. Regular women are gonna get over 99 matches. It's gonna, well, requests, not matches, requests, or people liking on them, and they have to go through and filter through. That's why it takes ladies a lot longer to swipe right on dating apps, because they have all the options coming to them on the dating apps. Especially if there's more men than women on the dating apps, ladies gonna have more options. They have time to look through each person and be like, nah, left swipe, left swipe, left swipe, left swipe. Versus a guy, the ladies are not swiping like that on men. They're not looking at every guy that comes up, oh, I think he's hot, I think he's slightly cute, I'm swiping right, swiping right, swiping right. No, they're not doing that. They're gonna look at the profile. They're looking to see the profile's well kept. They're gonna look and see what the bio's about. They're gonna look and see what he's about. And they're actually swiping. They're not just swiping to swipe. Now, there's always exceptions to the rule, but that girl, she's like, I'm looking to have fun. I don't care who this person is. She might swipe right, but then again, she might look in and see, does he look safe enough to swipe right on? Thoughts. Versus a guy is not gonna think, like his thought process is not gonna be like, does she look safe enough to swipe right on? Would I get murdered if I go sleep with her? No, a guy's not doing that. So that's why it seems it's not a broken model. No, it's not. Women are just not swiping as much as men are. Now, as a guy, to put yourself different from all the other dudes, when you decide to swipe right on that girl, make sure your bio's completed. Make sure you actually have good pictures and not just all face shots or shots with you wearing a hat with glasses on in your car looking like you're mean mugging somebody. No. Having one with your eyes showing, teeth showing, hat off, or showing your hair if you don't have any hair, you're bald, showing that. Show one of you standing. Show one of you and your friends doing an activity. Show one of your interests or hobbies, or you doing some of your interests and hobbies. That way you show like this person's a well-rounded person, and they don't just sit at home all day watching TV or wearing shades 24/7. And that's how you separate yourself from all those dudes who are just swiping right, left and right. And you don't have to be 6 foot tall. You don't have to make over 6 figures to date. You don't have to do that. And all those things are not going to matter when it comes to finding a partner. I'm going to say it. It does not matter when it comes to finding a partner. Now you want to date somebody who's going to be shallow and like only date men who are 6 foot and yet they're 5'3". Okay, that's her prerogative, but that's also her loss if she don't want to date you because you're 5'9", 5'8", or 5'7". Like, tall is tall if you're 5'3". Like, I'm gonna tell you. So don't look at that. Don't get upset at some woman who does that. Just keep swiping on her, swipe left on her, and keep it moving. And don't get discouraged by that. Just understand that that is what you have to do. What you're competing with, what you're going against when you're on the dating apps. And if you want to separate yourself from them, and you're okay with putting that money aside and taking dating actually seriously, it's okay to pay. Don't be mad about that. It's okay to pay. Get in with doing your little specials and deals. Cancel it after a month it doesn't work well for you. However, dating is not a quick thing. It's gonna take time. So if you're okay with paying, budget it into your thing. You wouldn't spend $20 a month. Heck, Netflix costs $20. Disney Plus with Hulu costs $20. Like, at this point, it's okay. I'm not going to judge somebody for paying on a dating app, but I will judge you for sitting there complaining about how women gets all the likes and guys don't get anything when your profile is not done, is half baked. Make sure you have a fully baked profile before you go out there in those dating waters on the apps. But that is all I have for today's episode of Nerdy Dating. Thank you guys for watching this episode. I appreciate y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please put in the comment section below and let your friends and family know about this episode. I really appreciate y'all. See y'all next time and keep being awesome. Thank you for making it the end of this episode. I really appreciate it. If you want to watch more episodes of Nerdy Dating, you can watch it right here. And thank you guys so much. Please let your friends, family, and anybody who wants to know about dating advice and other things about how to handle relationships, let them know and have them check out this series. I appreciate that. Thank you again for your time. Thank you again for your patience. I love you. See you next episode and keep being awesome.